max bang method is when you use your VA loan to purchase one of those properties to essentially give you, in this case, a $250,000 down payment because you finance $1 million purchase.
Hey, how's it going, guys? My name is Dan Wynn, and welcome to the Financial Freedom Journal. Today, we have a very special guest. Her name is Shelby Osborne, and she is the owner-broker of Pillars Realty out in Fayetteville, North Carolina. She is a veteran. She was an Army officer, AG Corps, and now she is, like I said, an investor and owner-broker, and she's won so many accolades in the Carolina area for her work as a realtor. She's just doing her and her team are just doing a bang-up job in the area, really providing value for the area. So with that, let's go ahead and get into the video, and here it goes. All right, so Shelby, can you tell us a little bit about yourself? Like, tell us about your background. How'd you hop into real estate? How'd you get to become the Rookie of the Year of all the Carolinas? How did that work? Where did that start at?
Sure. Well, it started with 6 years in the Army is where it started. So I commissioned as a second lieutenant in the AG Corps back in 2012 and went to Fort Jackson for Bullock and then went to Fort Lewis, Washington for 3.5 years and served in the 17th Field Artillery Brigade for the entirety of that time before PCSing to Captain's Career Course at Fort Jackson again and then Fort Bragg, 82nd Airborne. So I was there for a little over a year as the battalion S1 at 2508 PIR. So that really gave me the structure and like motivation, network, everything that I have for turning into real estate. So a lot of the things that I loved about the military, there was the corresponding things that I didn't love that spurred me to get out of the military and jump into real estate to secure my own financial future, my own financial freedom down the road. Did that answer your question?
No, that definitely answered the question. So, I mean, you started in the military. You started at Fort Lewis, jumped down to Fort Bragg. What do they say? That's the hub of the universe, or It's
the center of the universe.
Yeah, 82nd. You know what I mean?
Watch out.
Eventually, maybe we'll get there. But yeah, so you started there, and then you just transitioned afterwards. You got all the skills, got the foundation, laid the foundation in the Army, and then decided to go ahead and switch over to into real estate, being an agent. Were you working as an agent active, like while you were on active duty? Like, how did that work? How did that transition work?
Yeah, so it's funny. I never even considered real estate as a career. Like, I thought it was boring. It wasn't until I used my VA loan to buy a condo in Washington. And when I was in Fort Bragg, like busting my ass every day, I was like, wow, my rental property is giving me money. Like, I'm not paying for that. That's awesome. It kind of like the light bulb went off along with several other factors. But I got my license before I got out of the military back in November of 2017. But I didn't start being an agent broker until terminal leave started, which was January of 2018, at the end of January 2018. So no.
So you got it. So why was that? I mean, I see a lot of people actually that end up transitioning to a realtor, but a lot of times they practice while they're actually in at the same time. That last maybe year or so. Have you seen that?
Yeah. Oh gosh, a ton of people do that. And on my team right now, I have a team. Most of them are doing that. They're active duty and they're also practicing real estate. But for me, I wanted to go balls to the wall, like whole ass everything. So I did until I had the time to give it that much, because the 82nd is draining. Like they take everything from you. Well, gosh, that sounded bad. But, but I didn't have time, focus, energy, all of that stuff to be the type of agent that I knew that I wanted to be or could be. So I waited.
Gotcha. Hey, yeah, and for all of my followers out there, all my listeners out there, we're talking to the #1 rookie of the year in all the Carolinas. She's already crushing it in freaking Fayetteville as it is. But man, to get that type of recognition from Keller Williams, I mean, that's pretty dope. I'm seeing you like all over social media right now. Like they're just blasting. I'm like, man, I know that girl. Like, geez, man, she's a rock star in her field, man. That's awesome.
Appreciate that.
Yeah. So got out of the military, went to be a realtor at Keller Williams. Kind of talked about why you did that, but why did you transition over into the broker, like to the broker side, or how did that work?
Okay, so necessity, truly. When I got out of the military, I was like, I was a battalion S1, so I was responsible for all of the soldiers in my shop. HR, for people who don't know, the Army shops.
Now I'm a finance officer, so we talked about that actually, kind of a little bit of friction there, you know what I mean? Little history, rivalry right there.
Cool.
You know? So
I'm cool if you're cool. We can make it through this. But yeah, so I was very used to being responsible for a lot of other people's like bullshit, essentially. And I was like, I'm not going to be on a team. I'm not going to have my own team. I'm not going to be responsible for anything other than where I am, like what I'm doing. Didn't
it's not a responsibility, like.
Yeah, but the team started out of necessity just because I had a lot of business. And by that point, it was like 9 months in. Gosh, I had so much experience. But I had this referral business from the clients that I'd helped over the previous months. And it was just growing and growing. And you cannot, no matter how early you wake up or how hard you try, there's not enough hours in the day to give everyone the amount of service that they deserve to maintain a business with a high reputation. And so it was out of that necessity where I was like, leverage is key. And leverage is my favorite thing in the world anyway. So I just started taking chunks of the business that I didn't prefer doing myself and leveraging them, hiring when I need to, but also getting agents on my team who were competent, capable, and they're freaking way more than that. They're the most amazing people in my life, and just kind of growing this thing, taking the systems and models already in place and just expanding them, documenting them, replicating them.
Nice. So you started to build the system basically. I think a lot of people have a hard time understanding that like, regardless of how much of a rock star you are, you know, at some point you need a team. You need to, there's that famous quote that if you want to go fast, go alone, right? And then if you want to go far, go as a team. So I think you're like a living testament to that. So I mean, obviously you're a rock star. I mean, rookie of the year and everything, but even you needed a team, you know, to help grow and go farther. So when did 5 Pillars come along?
Well, it was created in my brain in September 2018. But at that point, I was still what's called a provisional broker in North Carolina. So I wasn't allowed to have my team because I'd been an agent for like literally less than a year. And so I went ahead and just did push through all the education required to get my full broker's license, which wasn't until the beginning of November. And then I was ready to start my team then, but my Keller Williams waited until the 1st of January to give me the official stamp, because then I would have screwed up my rookie of the year. So they wanted me to get it.
Got you. Yeah. Got to get some of the accolades, right? Yeah. So, yeah. Okay. So, went to built the 5 Pillars team, the brokerage. I like the way that you went about it. Like, you know, you kind of started from realtor, you kind of jumped right into it. It seems like, I mean, in a relatively short amount of time, I mean, you jumped right into the brokerage, but you had the wherewithal to, hey, 1, build a team, 2, start systemizing what you were doing. And now, was there a reason why you were doing that? I mean, I would guess it's for, you know, so that at some point you can kind of Go ahead.
For sure. So originally it's because anything that's inefficient irritates the shit out of me. So like I would find myself doing the same task and researching the same thing because I forgot how to do it. So, you know, intuitively I was like, all right, this needs to be documented. So that way I don't have to research it every single time. And so I just started, this was on my own.
The HR on you came out, huh?
Oh, yeah, for sure. Yeah. So wait, where were we going?
You're talking about how your system.
And then it became even more imperative when I was hiring on agents because they needed, the SOP, the standard operating procedures on how to do a job. And it would be more leveraged for me if I have everything documented. So I'm not the one physically teaching everyone. And the new agents really helped a lot in that. As I taught them, they helped to document the systems which exist today. But yeah, totally the ultimate end state is for myself to be replaced in the business. And I won't be the owner and CEO. I will just be the owner and financial freedom.
So awesome, dude. So awesome. I mean, that's pretty much what we talk about, along your own. I like hearing other people's financial freedom journey, because, everyone doesn't have the same journey. You can learn from every single person's journey, how they're navigating through the process. And I love the way that you've done it. So you kind of mentioned, I'm going to backtrack just a little bit because you talked about your condo and you talked about real estate investing.
Sure.
And I know that you're also a real estate investor. Can you talk to us about some of your deals and how you started those and how you finished those?
For sure. So the whole reason why I'm a broker is because of real estate investing. I was an investor first. Truly, when you think about passive income and financial freedom, that is rental properties, period, in my mind at least. So my first property purchase was totally by accident. It wasn't intentional as an investment property. It was that VA loan purchase in that condo back in Washington, which I didn't run numbers on. I didn't do anything the way that I know to now. And somehow it cash flows and has increased $70,000 in equity since I bought it back in 2020.
Nice.
So I'm lucky. Love that one. And then when I decided real estate, November 2017 is when I got my license. That's also when I bought my first purposeful investment property, which was a conventional purchase, duplex, cash flows beautifully. But also conventional purchases will drain you very quickly. Putting 25% down in North Carolina, you have to put 25% down for an investment property purchase. And I was like, whoa, I'm not going to do that again. So my next one I bought with my VA loan again, which I don't know if a lot of people know this, but you can use it more than once at the same time.
Yes.
So I bought a quad because 4 times the bang for the one single purchase. And then after that, I was out of the military, so I no longer had every 2-week paychecks. And for those of you who are going to be entrepreneurs out there, banks will not lend to you for 2 years until you have 2 years of tax returns to prove that you actually make money in your industry. So I was like, oh crap, no one's going to loan to me. How do I do this? Private money. So started hitting big on the private money technique and secured the next 3 deals with myself and 2 partners, which the first was a single family foreclosure. The second was an off-market duplex. And then the third was a 16-unit apartment complex. And these are all essentially with the burst strategy. So we bought the properties, all of which with private money, by the way, bought the property, rehabbed it, and then refinanced. And you guys know now that I'm still new at this, it's a year ago that I was like, oh, what's being an agent like? But anyway, so we're in the process of finishing all of these deals. The single family, that's already refinanced. It was beautiful. The duplex is in the process of being refinanced, and the 6-unit is just about done with its rehab. And then we'll have to get that one rented for a little while before we can refinance, because that's commercial, so it's kind of its own ballpark. But yeah.
So I got to pause for a second, because just for those out there that she was breaking it down, she was going through it, but let's just dissect a little bit of that. So first, you brought up some great points. I've also done a video on the burst strategy, and I've also done a video on the VA loan and how you can build wealth through using the VA loan. A lot of people don't know that you can use the VA loan more than once, and a lot of people don't know that you can use the VA loan for a residential 4-unit, 1, 2, 3, 4, anything's residential.
Right.
So can you kind of unpackage that a little bit, for those educational spiel here, coming from a top-notch realtor? Can you unpackage some of that from the VA loan perspective for my veteran friends out there that are listening? Just a couple notes on that, and a couple things that could help
Yes.
us do the same thing.
Yeah, so it's so funny that you said this. So I last week or the week before did a presentation at like the Triangle Real Estate Investors Association meetup at the Triangle is in North Carolina. It's like
Yeah.
Raleigh area. But anyway, it was purely on the VA loan. So I could literally just pull up my slides. I can send it to you if you'd like.
Well, if you have a video on it, then I'm pretty sure I think I
Oh,
saw
I do.
that actually. So
Yeah.
I'll put if it's on YouTube, if it's not, we'll put a link up. We'll put a link up
Okay.
somewhere, and
Yeah.
make sure that, for all my veteran friends, you guys can get a nice rundown on this. But again, if you want to give us like a synopsis, little touch points.
Sure. Yes. Okay. So I'm sure you covered this in your video, but the basics are it's a 0% down purchase where you can get up to 4 units in one property as long as they're under the same roof. If you're disabled in any way, the funding fee, which goes along with the VA loan, is waived, which is really nice. So one of the factors is you must intend to live in the property for 1 year.
Keyword.
Yes. So I have on my little slide, I actually pulled them up, is underline, bold, and italic. Because one of the things you'll see, especially if you're in like a military town, okay, people will say like, "Oh, I'm deploying. I should wait to buy. I should just buy when I get back." And I'm like, "Do you have orders yet?" And they're like, "No." And I'm like, "Buy now. Buy right now." Because if you buy now and you deploy, it's not your fault that you did not live in the property for a year. The Army forced you to leave. And then when you come back, you can use that sucker again. So yeah, anyway, you must intend to live in the property for 1 year. And then another rule is you must occupy within 60 days of closing. Well, must intend to occupy. And then you can use your VA loan more than once at the same time. Those are like the key points. But I can also hit on how you can use it.
Sure.
Whatever you do. I'll do whatever you want.
No, sure. Go ahead. Yeah. How you can use it. I mean, I know there's pretty much a threshold for most U.S. cities, like around 420K or something like that. But sure, go ahead.
Ours is like 480 in North Carolina, but I was going to say like strategies to how to get the biggest bang for your buck is so the live and flip is pretty popular for those people who want to do like a single family purchase. You just buy something with equity in it. You fix it up over that year. You're supposed to live in it anyway, and then you can sell it. Equity piece, that's really important there. So make sure you're buying right. Then there's house hacking for those bigger pockets listeners out there. So where you're going to buy the property and you're going to live in one unit potentially and rent out the others, and the others will pay for your mortgage. House hacking. And then there's Airbnb is really popular these days. So it's the same strategy as like house hacking, except you can do up one of your units as an Airbnb or a spare bedroom in a single family home. And damn, those are profitable, guys. It's like really 3 times as much as a regular long-term tenant.
Yeah.
And then I won't even go into the last one. It's kind of, but it's my favorite. One day I'll share my last strategy.
Yeah, well, wait a minute. I might not know this strategy. You're gonna have to touch on that a little bit. Just a quick 1 sentence synopsis or something, dude. Like, give me an idea. Let me peek through the hole or something.
Yeah. So this one is made up. And, well, at least I think I created it. I'm like, God, but no. It's what I call the max bang method. So it only works with owner financing and off market. Well, so okay. And this comes from personal experience. This is what I was trying to do. Is there was a set of 5 quads, and they were grouped together, and it was an off-market deal, and the owner owned it outright, so completely 100% owned it. Max bang method is when you use your VA loan to purchase one of those properties to essentially give you, in this case, a $250,000 down payment because you finance $1 million purchase. Right? Max bang.
Like,
you're getting $1 million worth of commercial property for your VA loan, which is 0% down.
Nice. So I guess how would that contract work? I mean, like,
you're gonna have to be with a realtor who's a little creative.
Yeah. Okay. Man.
But yeah.
We're gonna have to talk about that once we get done. I'll definitely have to reach out and figure out what that piece is. But I never even thought about that. That's extremely creative. I mean, they talk about creative finance all the time, but people talk about creative financing all the time. And man, that's an extremely creative way. And I can see how that could work, especially if if the owner owns the property outright.
Yeah.
Definitely see how that works. That's nice. Okay, so talked about your investing, talked about 5 pillars, and what are your plans for financial freedom? Where do you see yourself in the next, I don't know, 10 years, or where do you see 5 pillars in the next 10 years, and also along with your investment portfolio?
For sure. World domination.
Taking over the world.
Yeah, pretty much. So 5 pillars within 5 years, I believe, will be a commonly known name in any household that wants to get into any sort of. Okay, so we work with military and investors, and bonus points if they're one and the same. So in any sort of household like that, I feel like will be a common name when people are looking to invest or make a purchase. They'll think of 5 pillars. That's the goal. And then also expanding out to other military installations. Our strategy works really well around military because we all are military. We get it. Yes.
Really quick, I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off, but that's one thing I really want to highlight about your company. So we backstory, I didn't tell the story of how we even met. So we're at the 10X Growth Conference in beautiful Miami. You guys are going to see the clip. I'm still I'm editing it right now, so that clip will come out before this video. But we're down in Miami. I was walking down to just to stretch my legs a little bit. When you're sitting in those stands for a while, kind of, get restless. So I walked outside. And as I was coming back in, I passed a group of people with the hero tag on, which signifies, they're in the military. So, I have my little selfie stick, and I've been taking interviews the entire time. And I was like, hey, what's going on, guys? My name is Dan Wynn. How you doing? Blah, blah, blah. Found out about you guys. I found out about Shelby's awesome organization at 5 Pillars. And then she said that one thing that I really, really like to hear. She was like, my whole staff, all of us are, well, one, she started as a realtor, moved to a broker in like a year time frame, crushing it in her market already. And then she was like, yeah, my whole entire staff are veteran. We're all military. We're all associated with the military. Her whole entire organization really is a military staff, and they're all crushing it in their market. And I was like, man, I got to make sure I got to do an interview like right now. And then I got to get your contact information so we can stay in touch. It's just, I thought that was phenomenal. So I wanted to highlight that point. Sorry to cut you off, but
no, I talk too much. Please cut me off whenever. I forget, what was the question?
No, we were talking about where's 5 Pillars going, the direction 5 Pillars going, where do you see yourself in, or basically what's the end goal? What is your why? What's your end state?
Well, gosh, it changes all the time. Originally, it was, before I thought of 5 Pillars, it was just purely investment properties, getting it to the cash flow that I want it to be monthly, which is very, I want $80,000 cash flow monthly, which is really big goal. It'll happen. But so that was originally the whole plan, but it's morphed into, gosh, I have such a passion for 5 Pillars and where we're going. I will never stop. Originally it was I'll get whatever I want and stop and do the family thing and just chill out. But chill is not in my blood. So even when 5 Pillars is growing, even when the investments are growing, I feel like I'll always play an active role in that by choice. And that's the key with financial freedom, is it becomes your choice. You don't have to go to work. You can do it because you love to do it. But yeah, so 5 Pillars will expand across the nation, and the investment properties will continue to grow. This year, I won't buy anything less than 20 units. It's my goal. And just continue to grow that with private money and syndication. Syndication's my new thing right now. So try to do that. And then also just generate all the different streams of passive income, because there's so many different, we've got a million different ways of passive income, even starting right now and heading forward. It's just going to continue to grow. Did that answer your question?
No, that definitely answered the question. That was a phenomenal answer. I loved how you touched about, you'll have the choice. It's not that you have to work. It's that you want to work. You're genuinely passionate about what you're doing, about helping other helping those in your community and building something bigger than yourself. And I think that's phenomenal. That's just awesome. So yeah. And then of course, the syndication piece, like I'm trying to get there eventually, you know what I mean? But that's the next thing I'm working on as well. But that's super awesome. You're already got your first commercial property. I know you're going to get your second, third, fourth, and fifth. So that's awesome. Yeah, dude, I love it, man. I love it. Love it. So, where can we find you at, Shelby? Where can we find information about you and also about Five Pillars?
Yeah, for sure. So if you Google Five Pillars Realty Group, if we don't come up, I'm going to have some, no, just kidding. We'll come up. But yeah, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. We post a lot on there. Just search Five Pillars Realty Group. And then also on our website, and hit me up. I'm Real Estate with Shelby Osborne on Instagram and Facebook. And yeah, an email too. I mean, you're more than welcome to include email contact information.
Oh yeah, I'm gonna include all that information. Will be down in the show notes here. We'll put the contact information there. We'll put all of the cool things she's working on, as well as the video link for the VA loan, for how you can invest, or what can help you. So we'll definitely include all that information down there.
And can I do one plug?
Yeah, one plug.
Okay, so if you are buying, selling, investing anywhere nationwide, a lot of people will think that, I'm in North Carolina, I can only help in North Carolina. We can literally help anywhere across the country. Hit us up and we can help you with your investment strategies, hitting your goals, and then also referring you to an agent in your local market who actually gets it, because not everyone does. Okay, I'm good.
Well, I got to touch on that because what you just said was a lot of people don't know. There's different levels of realtors, man. Like there seriously is. Like I've done multiple deals, and I'd say about 80% of the realtors that I work with are straight garbage. Like there's literally levels to realtors. So
for sure, not all created equally.
Please heed what Shelby's saying. Like don't just go out there and be like, oh, I'm just gonna go through the yellow page and get the first realtor I find. I'm telling you, dude, like I'm telling you, you don't want to do that. So yeah, that's a phenomenal point. But Shelby, thank you so much for hopping on this call with me and sharing your story with our viewers. Really, really appreciate it. Love your story. Again, we'll put all your information down here about you and Five Pillars, and that's pretty much it.
Thank you so much for having me. This was awesome. Loved it.
This is Dan Wynn signing out.